college radio is, I think it's the magic of radio, especially in today's world. You have corporate radio, but it's college radio is where the magic happens because it's always new people coming in, new young people, and they have the best ideas. But as far as us on the educator side of it, the mentor side, we take those ideas and we help them mold it into something that is able to be put on the air and be good. Because, good ideas are good on their own, but they just need a little bit of work and follow through. And I think that's what we do here. I know when you go get a job, believe it or not, how much volunteer time did you put in college? That's one of the questions that comes up. And people don't realize, like college radio, we have a lot of volunteer opportunities for students. And that's where they rack up those hours. Because it's a community service. We're providing a service to the community, whether it be through interviewing nonprofits, playing local bands, local music, talking about local community events that are going on. They really get to be a part of something professional, and they get to showcase their work, their talent on the air. And they not only that, but they get to practice it.
It's real world practice while you're in college, and you cannot get that anywhere else. Those nerves that you feel the first time you're on the air, the first time you have your own air check, it's incomparable to none. And the only way you can get that out of the way is by practicing.
They get to have their own show, and they get to do their own bumpers, and they get to pick their own music for the most part, and they get to make it their own. And then that carries into social media. They build up followers, and that really helps them become employable when they leave.
College radio is super important because I feel that we are the tastemakers of the music industry. We focus a lot of times on up-and-coming artists and local artists that normally don't get attention on larger stations.
It's kind of like a haven for unappreciated music and for kind of a collective of different tastes. We do library sessions, which is similar to like a KEXP session or NPR Tiny Desk concert, where we have touring bands come into the library, we record it, we master the audio and put that on YouTube. That's a good way to interact with people who maybe haven't heard of us before but have heard of the bands that we like. A challenge that we've had, not necessarily a challenge, but something that we've had to deal with kind of in the wake of the Me Too movement, is just finding out that bands may have abusive members and really taking steps to deal with that in the correct manner.
In Austin, probably in every DIY scene across the country, there is a lot of problems of bands getting booked that have histories of abusive behavior towards women, or publicly saying racist or misogynistic or transphobic things and then still getting booked and still getting airtime. A new thing that we're doing is the creation of what we call the Red List, and it's where we compile a list of relevant bands that have like abuse allegations against them. We're not trying to be the moral police, and we're not trying to tell people what they can and can't listen to, but we want to keep people safe.
Any advice that I'd say to someone who's debating joining college radio, do it. Even if you're not 100% into the whole media career, you could be part of sales, you could be in promotions and be out on the quad. You could go into music, programming, social media, whatever. We have a huge variety of departments, and it's just a really fun time, and it's a whole big happy family.
What other opportunities have come up for you working here at KTSW?
The biggest one is photographing people and things that I never thought I'd be able to do. Like, for example, I got to photograph like Paul McCartney, and then I got to photograph Lil Wayne, who's like one of my favorite rappers. And then just like the networking, like if I say like, oh, I work for KTSW, people are saying they know people that work for KTSW or they know the station well, so I can already feel that.
Since KTSW has a huge variety of departments, I mean, I've been a part of production, I've been a part of programming, other side drive, and now station manager. I've learned how to cut and edit audio, interview bands, interview people of different organizations around campus, and really just overall getting along with and learning how to mesh with a huge variety of people. Band of the Week and our Studio C sessions have something in common, and they both focus on local bands that are from San Antonio, San Marcos, and the Austin area.
We have a band that typically that we have in rotation on the station. We'll have our Studio C producer book them, and they'll do a live session here in our studio. Videographers are in here recording the session, and our sound techs are also recording and mixing it. So that is a multimedia project all in its own, because it's all these departments working together to make one big thing, and that's what it's become. It's become its own little monster.
It's a pretty huge radio station effort because our social media, multimedia, other side drive, our music department, they all come together to create this huge product that we push out every other week. And yeah, it's really fun. The whole band comes in for a couple hours, and they get to meet our staff members, and our staff members get to meet them, because that's the fun of college radio, is just to like see who's out there and meet these new people.
I graduated from Texas State in 2016, and I worked at KTSW for 3.5 years. I started halfway through my freshman year. I started as a DJ and a promotions assistant and had a few different roles. I like to think that I kind of wove my way through the different departments at KTSW, but I worked in news for a while. I then worked as the social media administrator and eventually was the station manager at KTSW. Maybe when people think about college radio, they might just think it's just radio, and it's led me to so many jobs that are not in radio. So I think if people are interested in kind of gaining those skills, gaining that confidence, gaining all of a sudden this sense of self and kind of experimenting with what you want to do with the rest of your life, college radio is a great place to do that. And it doesn't have to end in radio. It can be in progressive activism, or it can be in whatever you'd like it to be.
If I had to pick one thing, the most rewarding thing is just really having a family.
I think it's just like a really welcoming community, and I'm really grateful that I found it, because it's really the only school-affiliated thing I've ever enjoyed doing. So I think that says a lot.
I love everyone in this organization so much. I met like all of my best friends through being here. It's a really, really like special community. Being here, you feel very understood, you feel very supported.
I think the lasting friendships for me have been the most important. I still hang out with the people that I worked at KTSW with a few years ago. And really, I mean, getting to do stuff like this, getting to all of a sudden have this network of people who were also involved in college radio is so cool.
I think it's just getting close to everybody. Like I said, I came in really new and really fresh, and when I came, it was with people that have been here for years. So overall, it's just like meeting people. Like, it really is like a family. You hear that all the time, but it really is like these are the people that I come to first for things like even in my personal life. So
I've really found this environment to just be so welcoming, and I never dread coming here. Even though I'm required to be here 20 hours a week, it doesn't feel like work. It just feels like something fun that I do. And getting to know the people is the most rewarding part for me. And getting the experience at the same time, especially. So it's just a double whammy, a good thing.
It is a warm one here in San Marcos with a high of 79. It will cool down this evening with a low of 55. Temperatures will remain in the low 70s this weekend with an overall low of 48. Looks like a great weekend to be outside. You are listening to KTSW San Marcos.